Hello again and welcome to another edition of Suds and Country. Hi, I'm Herb Suds and welcome to the show.
Hi everybody, I'm Rose and we are here with a special guest today. We have Capitol recording artist Keith Urban. Welcome to the show, Keith.
Thank you, Rose. Appreciate it.
Welcome to the show, Keith.
Thank you, Rose.
Hey, I was reading some information about you and it said if couplehood was a required course in college, Couplehood 101, your album would definitely be required listening. Explain that whole statement.
That's a tall order right there, isn't it?
Well, you're the man for the job.
No pressure. Well, I think a lot of the songs deal with relationships, and I think acknowledging in this time when we have joint career couples, like men and women both work and have careers, and I think I learned my lesson about not acknowledging that I was in a dual career situation and thinking too much about myself, not enough about my partner. So a lot of these songs came about learning the hard way.
What did you mean by man's view is recognizing themselves and a woman's view is surprised by emotion?
You have to quote that one again. That's a new one to me. It's all new to me.
What did you mean by the concept of the album was relationships?
You're right.
Am I correct?
Yes, that's right.
Man's view is recognizing themselves, and a woman's view is surprised by emotion. That was I read that.
Well, that's I don't know if that's a quote from me, but I don't know how to run with that one.
I'm going to ask you a question.
All right.
Okay.
Rose got an easier one.
The number one quality
here, Rose.
The number one quality that your music portrays is sensitivity, correct? Or that's what we get from a lot of your songs.
Yeah.
Are you really a sensitive guy? Does that reflect your personality?
It does. I think, you'd have to ask my ex-girlfriend probably, but maybe
You
not.
might have a different answer.
Yeah. No, hopefully she's got a good one now, but we've come a long way, But, I can sympathize with both sides of the story, I think, and I'm certainly not afraid to admit when I'm wrong and say, you know what, I definitely saw it the wrong way.
That's important. I have a question about It's a Love Thing. The majority of the video takes place in a taxi cab, correct? Now, were you actually in this taxi cab filming this video?
Yeah, I was. It's a New York taxi. It's an old checker cab, and there's a lot of leg room in those old cabs. So we actually had a camera set on a tripod in the back, on the floor in the back seat, and the photographer, the cameraman was right here basically, and I was squashed in the corner there, and the director was in the front seat, and there was a guy driving, and a stylist sitting in the middle, keeping an eye on everything, and yeah, it was crazy.
But it was a regular-sized taxi cab.
Well, it was a regular-sized checker cab anyway, which is pretty big. So yeah, a lot of people mistake that video for me being in a limousine. I don't know why, but it's a cab.
Okay.
How long did it take to shoot that video?
It was basically a day. We started with the studio shots first in the recording studio, and then as nightfall came, we went outside and did the exterior shots.
Okay, the video, I Want to Be Your Everything, or actually the song, that would be a perfect wedding song.
Yeah.
Now, do you hear from a lot of your fans that they have used that song for their wedding song?
Oh, I get proposals.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, especially coming into Valentine's Day, I've had a few people on my website comment that they're using the song to propose to their partner, which I think is just beautiful.
Keith, a lot of these songs were they written before or after the black part of your life? As they quote, the black part of your life.
Yeah. One or two of them were written afterwards. Most of them were written beforehand, and I think I just didn't recognize the songs for being suitable to me. I think I wrote a lot of these songs a couple of years ago, or a year ago, and I didn't think they suited what I was looking for. And then I went through this period, and at the other end of that, I suddenly heard these songs differently.
Interesting. You wrote them before you went through this period.
Yeah, but I didn't.
That's interesting.
But I didn't hear them the way I heard them afterwards, which is interesting.
I want to know who the older man is in the overalls that dances around in the video, Walking the Country. Yes, he's in two videos, isn't he? Butterbilly and
yes,
Walking.
he
Is it the same man?
Well, what we did was we shot that in Adams, Tennessee, which is a small town, and it was basically a deserted street, and we shot Walking the Country on one side of the street, and we literally turned the camera around and did Butterbilly on the other side of the street. So we did two videos in one day, and the old guy in the video was just a local guy,
He was great. I love him. You got to see him.
Oh man, he was hammered too. By the time we got there, it was like 9 o'clock in the morning, and he was drinking some moonshine or something.
No wonder.
He was having a great time, and he was dancing off camera. And the director kept spotting him and said, "You know, do you want to be on camera?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." So he's wonderful.
So he's now a star.
That's right. He's a celebrity. Yeah.
Clutterbug was an all-instrumental video. You don't see much of that being done in Nashville today. Why did you decide to do an all-instrumental video?
Well, I did an instrumental on the album because we had some great players on the record. But this instrumental actually came from an album I had in Australia in 1990.
Okay.
And it was the original version also had a banjo solo and a piano solo and a fiddle solo and a whole bunch of stuff. And I designed the instrumental to feature all these players on the record. But when it came time to form the Ranch, we were just a three-piece, so I rearranged the song, we put it on the record, and then...
How was it received, an all-instrumental video, an all-instrumental song? You don't see much of that being done today.
No, and I think it's a shame because, I mean, I listened to a lot of Jerry Reed and a lot of the great pickers, you know, Chet Atkins and, Earl Flatt and Lester Scruggs, and so, you know...
The best. And they don't do
Lester
it anymore.
Flatt and Earl Scruggs. Goodness me, I'm sorry.
Lester and Earl.
It's been a long day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I don't know why they don't do instrumentals, but they just cut that out. In the old days, they did a lot more.
Yeah, they did, and I think it's kind of on a record. It's kind of nice as a bit of a comic relief.
I think so too. What's the difference between this record and quote a band record, the new album?
I think there's a little more creative. I was able to cover some more styles that in the Ranch I wasn't able to cover, because when you have the same players, you kind of have a certain sound, and as a band you have to sort of stay true to a certain sound. Being solo, I think you're a little more freer to try other things.
What's the difference between the three-piece band, the Ranch, and the three-piece band that you had in Australia, considering you had 4 number ones with that band?
Well, actually, that band was a 5-piece originally. I had a rhythm guitarist and a keyboard player. When I came to America, I couldn't bring everybody with me. So the minimum I could bring was bass and drums. And unfortunately, my bass player and drummer didn't sing, and I needed some harmonies. So I eventually replaced my bass player with a singing bass player who was Jerry from the Ranch.
Now, you are originally from Australia, correct?
Yes, that's right.
What part of Australia?
Brisbane, which is north of Sydney.
Okay. Now, would you say country music is more popular in Australia or in the United States? Or about the same?
I think it's growing in Australia. I mean, it's a smaller population. There's only 18 million people in Australia, so it's about the same land mass as America, but 18 million people sort of spread out. So the population, you know, is a small country population, but it's growing.
What kind of sound are you trying to create? When you were in Australia, you put rock guitar with country, and when you had the Ranch, you put some R&B in there, and now you're mixing some pop and hip-hop into whatever you had in the blender before. So what kind of sound are you trying to create here in Nashville?
Oh, it's a big margarita mix, I think.
How's it being received?
So far, it's been great. I've had great support from radio, and obviously the video networks have been tremendous to us. So, you know, and the fans seem to be really enjoying the music, so I'm thrilled.
Are you targeting a certain audience, or just a general pop audience, or a country audience, or crossover, or whatever listens?
I think there's more and more people. I think we're becoming more aware that there's people's tastes are diverse. I mean, you'll just go and buy I think kids these days will go and buy a Britney Spears record as well as a Dixie Chicks record, and I think that's more common than we think.
I understand that the first song that you ever performed in public was the San Antonio Stroll. Is that correct?
That's one of the very first songs I recorded. I performed, yeah, Tanya Tucker song.
Okay.
Well, her version of it at least, anyway, yeah.
When and where did you first perform?
I was 9, and I was competing in a talent quest at the time.
9 years old.
That wasn't a paid job?
What's a paid job?
9?
Why'd you come to America?
Because my dad's record collection was all American country, so that's what I grew up playing. Charlie Pride, Don Williams, Glenn Campbell, you know, Dolly Parton.
You had a good influence in the back there.
Yeah, I did, and so you know, my goal was to always come to Nashville.
Rose?
Just about ready to wrap up the show.
I'm about ready to wrap up this edition of Southern Country. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, I appreciate
Okay,
it.
it's a pleasure meeting.
Thanks a lot, Keith. Switch hands here.
Continued success in America and continued success with your record sales.
Thank you, and thanks to everybody for watching the videos too. Appreciate it.
Until
Bye-bye,
next time,
everybody.
this is Herb saying enjoy, and when you see Keith Urban in your area, be sure you go see him because he puts on a heck of a show.
That's right. Take care, everybody.
Take care, bye-bye.